Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. If you've been here before, welcome back. Please take a second to drop me a comment below. Let me know whether you like this video, don't like the video, or what you think about it. So I'm going to go over how to make a couple compound miter cuts here. So a compound miter cut is basically more than one angle. So if you're used to using your miter saw to cut like a 45 or whatever you're cutting, in this case we're going to cut a 45 and a 5-degree angle at the same time. Now there's some extra things involved in getting this planer cut properly that I'm not going to do in this video. If you cut this more than like a 5-degree angle, you're going to run into some problems when you put the top and the bottom on. So that's why I kept it at 5 degrees, so the top and the bottom would still go on without having to make any extra cuts. So when I'm getting ready to cut this, I'm actually looking at the back of the outside of the planer. So what I'm doing is I've got to cut a 5-degree slope in it, so it pitches down and in, gives a little bit more accent to the planer. But I've also got to cut a 45-degree back cut on it because we're making a box. So if we left the 5 degrees out and we just cut 45 and put them all together, we would end up with a square box. By doing this, we end up with a square box with a slight taper going down and in at 5 degrees. Now since I'm just doing a demonstration, I'm not really going for accurate length cuts. But let's say if you wanted that to actually be 12 inches wide, you want to cut the board at like 13 and a half. Cut your first end off like I'm doing here. And that way you've got this angle on all 4 of your boards. We're going to cut the length off on the next cut. Now I'm just lining the board up to where it touches the other side of the fence. That way it keeps that piece from ejecting out and flying and hitting the wall. It still may fly out, so make sure there's nothing behind you when you do that. As long as you're touching the fence, usually that piece won't fly out. So with all 4 of my boards cut, I'm going to now cut the length off. So again, this is back to where if you wanted a 12-inch board or whatever size board you're cutting, this is where you would make your measurement at. So I need to reset my saw to basically the opposite side. So I'm going to do a 45-degree cut this way. And I'm going to do a 5-degree cut down and in at the bottom. So once I get my angle set, this is where I wanted to measure my board at. So as you can see, I've got my angle set, top left, down and in, same as the opposite side, so make sure your board's flipped the correct direction. I'm putting a cleat over here to stop it, so if I wanted that to be 12 inches wide, I would set the cleat at 12 inches, that way when I bump it up against it, it would stop there at 12 inches every time. That way I can just take multiple boards, slide them up against there like I'm going to do here, and make cut after cut. And then each time they'll be 12 inches exactly. Again, make sure you pay attention to which way you rotate your board when you put them in there, that way you don't cut your angle backwards. Now I had a slight camera malfunction there, so you missed that little part here. But if you've seen how to make a box before, you've seen people use tape on these corners. I basically did the same thing, even though we're mitered. I only did 2 pieces at a time though. Instead of making the whole board stretched out and then folding it up, I did 2 edges, and then put the other 2 edges together, then wrap tape around the bottom of them. So basically it's just kind of held together with glue now. And then what you also missed is taking a pin nailer and popping some pin nails in to hold it in place until the glue is done drying. You can use brad nails if you want to. The brad nailer is a little bit more fierce because I've got a battery powered one, and it's more likely to separate my joints apart, whereas the pin nailer is good enough to hold it together along with the tape wrapped tightly around it. So I'm just measuring out the bottom boards here. Again, I'm just taking another picket, lining it up. I'm not lining it to the edge yet. I want to cut that just a little bit short, like a half a blade shorter than what I really needed. The reason for that is we did a 5-degree taper on our boards. Now because of that 5-degree taper, our board's not going to fit perfectly on our bottom. The outside's going to touch, the inside's going to be off. It looks like about a 1/16 of an inch. And you'll notice when we put the top on, or we put the trim around the top, we'll have the same problem because that 5-degree taper is actually tapered from the middle inside down and outward. So it's almost like a roof. It's going to have a pitch going outward on it. It's not going to be enough that's going to throw our trim completely off. It's not going to look horrible. Since you're the one building it, you'll notice the gap, but most likely nobody else will ever notice unless you tell them. So I'm just marking the edge of the board here so I know how wide to cut this. Now because of that taper at the bottom, I want this to be a little bit smaller, but not too much smaller. So when I cut this edge off, I'm also going to cut the 2 edges off of our middle boards where they join together so they fit nice and flush together and there's no crack between them. As you can see, I'm only taking maybe a half the width of the blade off just so I've got a nice straight edge. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put some glue on it. I'm also going to put some pin nails in it to hold it in place while the glue dries. You can use brad nails if you want to. Remember, when you're brad nailing or pin nailing this, you want to put the pin nails on the outside edges of your board. Since the boards are tapered, again, there's going to be a gap on the inside, and if you put the brad nails on the inside, you might cause pressure and force the boards to fold inward a little bit. For the most part, they're going to be nailed from the outside edges, and they should hold perfectly fine. Now, unlike a lot of other places, I'm going a little bit liberal with the glue because, again, of that taper, that little gap in there, I want to make sure I'm glued really well on the outside edge, and any excess glue should actually drip down and inward down the slope, and it might fill up a little bit more space and create a little bit more contact than what you normally would get. Now, if you're comfortable with your table saw, you can rip these edges down so they're nice and flat. I did it in one of the planner videos. There'll be a link at the end of the video. This small of a slope you probably don't need to, but if you wanted to, you could do that. So for the top trim, I'm just going to look over here in my scrap pile. I've got a couple pieces left over from some edges I cut off the other day. So I'm just going to use these edges here. These are edges of a treated 2x6 or something, maybe a 2x8. I'm using fence plank anyhow, so I'm already using treated wood. So this will work perfectly fine with it. I'll put this on the top and make a nice little decorative edge on it. So I'm going to figure the inside edge of my planner. Now, if you want yours to be hanging over a little bit or inside more, measure it to where you want, but mine's 10 1/4 inches. I have a tendency to forget numbers pretty easily, so basically I'm writing on the back side of the board, so if I get over there and forget, I can look back at it. So once I get over here, I just want to make a 45-degree cut at the end of my board. Same as we did earlier, I just want to nip the tip, so I've got one side that's at 45 degrees. I'm going to then measure the inside edge to 10 1/4. Once I get the inside edge marked at 10 1/4, I'm going to go ahead and cut the other 45 off of there. Then I'm going to lay this on top of that other piece and use it as a template to cut my other 3 sides out. Once I get my first one cut, I am going to put it over on the box and just test fit it in place. Looks like it fits perfect. So again, I'm going to use that as a template, cut my other sides out. Now that I've got all my other sides cut out, you'll be able to see now what I was talking about earlier. See the slope down? If you put these straight where they're nice and flush across, by the time you take the slope or the 5-degree pitch that we put on here, 5-degree angle we put on there, they're going to be tipped down and outward. So we need to compensate that by flattening the top off, or in my case, I'm just going to put the square together on the top and brad nail it from the inside, and it should hold perfectly fine. We're not putting any weight on it. It's just for decoration. So I picked up these little corner braces the other day at Lowe's. I just wanted to see how well they'd work to put a picture frame together, a corner together. They worked okay. They're not the best thing in the world. I've got some inside corners that I usually use. Sometimes I just put them together and pop a couple brad nails in them. But since I had these, I figured I'd try it just to see if I'd like them or not. I had to leave that little part in there. I don't know what it is about that brad nailer or the pin nailer, but out of all the tools, power tools, the saws, the chop saws, hand saws, hammers, drills, the pin nailer and brad nailer, for some reason, she thinks she has to eat them or protect me from them. Now the top we're going to put on, same thing. I'm going to over glue it, way too much glue, more than you normally need. But remember, this one's tapered to the outside, so we want to put our nails more toward the inside. And I'm using brads on this just because it's the top. I don't want it to fall off. But 3 brads on each side should be plenty. You can add a couple more if you want to. But again, the glue is going to set, let it all dry, and it should be fine. So there's our finished product. Basically, a nice little tapered box. Again, you can see the gap from underneath. When you tip it up, you can see the gap up in there. Later videos, or again, if you're a little bit more skilled, you can take that out of there if you want. I did this video as a video for basically beginners with minimal tools, basically to learn how to do complex compound miter cuts. Hope you made it to the end. Please click on like, subscribe, and drop a comment below.